All right. Welcome everybody to this podcast. This is the first episode in our new podcast, and it's going to be run by my friend Kelvin Malunga and myself, Cecilia Piri. One other thing that I want to put out is when you write goals, you don't just write a goal as a statement or as a sentence and leave it there. No.
What do you do?
You need to have a plan. That is not what the purpose of goals are. I think that's why most of us fail on our goals, because we look at goals as if they are these set of rules that are there to hunt us down. Do it. If you don't do it, then you're a failure. No, it's not a failure. It's either a discontinued goal or it's a rearranged goal. You rearranged it into something else that is more suitable for you.
Okay.
All right. Welcome everybody to this podcast. This is the first episode in our new podcast, and it's going to be run by my friend Kelvin Malunga and myself, Cecilia Piri. And I'll let Kelvin explain more about himself, but I'll just talk about myself a little bit for now. So I identify as a teacher. So I am a teacher, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister to two girls and two women, actually, 2 women and 2 men. And I'm also a big-time businesswoman. So briefly, that's how I would define myself. And most importantly, I am the daughter of the Most High God. So, Kelvin, over to you.
Well, I think it's pretty much the same description because I'm also a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a business person. I think where there's a daughter, you just put a son, and it's the same description for me. But yes, I'm Kelvin Malunga, and we're doing this podcast together, my friend Cecilia and I. So I teach mathematics, I run a business, and I'm the son of the Most High.
Interesting. But I think we are going to go into details about what we do outside this podcast as we go. And also later in all other episodes that are going to come, you're going to know us better. But now, what I want to introduce you to is this unscripted episode.
Unscripted.
So we came together and decided to start a podcast. And this podcast is going to be broadcasted on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, everywhere, every week. But one of the episodes is going to be an unscripted conversation.
Just like this conversation.
Just like this one. Most part of it's going to be myself and my friend here, Kelvin. But other times we're going to allow our other groups of people, families and friends also to have their own unscripted conversations. And actually we want to see how people live, how people interact with their friends.
It's pretty much about learning from each other.
Yes.
So it's like we're inviting you, our audience, into our friendship. We want to grow this friendship to a wider group, It's usually the 2 of us and some other mutual friends sometimes, but we want it to become like a big community of friends that, hold each other's hands along the year. As the year is starting 2025, we don't want to do it independently. We want to do it together. So join us in this podcast or friendship, and let's see how this year goes.
And as Kelvin said, the other most important thing that we want to talk about in this podcast is how, as friends, we can help each other progress. How we can help each other push our goals forward, and also how we can be accountable for each other. Most of the times we're there, we have dreams, and most of these dreams are just sitting because we want to do it alone. But how do you know that if you just share it with a friend, it's going to become something big. I'm going to give you an example. This podcast. If I didn't share this podcast with Kelvin, I think I wouldn't have been filming in the second week of 2025.
Exactly. It would have been a dream that you're like still looking forward to.
Yes, that's very true. And because of that, I just want for you to listen to Kelvin why he thought of this podcast, because before I also came in to say why this podcast. So that's the question for you, Kelvin. Why this podcast?
Okay, so I think I have benefited a lot from wonderful conversations with friends like yourself and other friends as well. And I just thought, how about we also share this wisdom with other people? And these kind of situations where you're just talking with someone and then they say something that completely changes the way you look at things. Just a simple sentence that changes the way you see your life, the way you carry yourself and stuff like that. So I was thinking about this and then I was like, okay, I really have to do this. But who should be my first guest? And then you came to mind. And as I don't know who approached who first, but somehow you had the same idea. I don't know, what were you thinking about?
So I think as a teacher, and I should say being a teacher is one thing that has built the whole world around me, where I've always thought of using my knowledge and other people's knowledge to, live, to do things, to push goals forward. And when I looked at that, I thought, how about not just teaching science, because by the way, I'm a science teacher, so I teach biology, chemistry, physics, I'm a science teacher, mathematics. I have a whole tutoring agency for that. But I thought, how about not just teaching academic content? Why can I not teach, life experiences? And also invite other people to teach everybody else what they know, because I know some things and there are a lot of other people that have made in this life that know things. And whenever I'm having conversation, I thought, I've gotten this information. How about if multitudes of people had access to this same information? And because of that, I thought, okay, I think I really need to start a podcast. And this is years ago, like maybe 2-3 years ago, when I was thinking about this. And one time last year, I'm going to talk the whole story about it, of what happened. It just clicked in me, and I got the name the same time of the podcast that I have to start and everything. And when I started writing about it and started to really think about it, to implement it, you came to mind. I was like, Kelvin has done a podcast before, the mathematics teacher, and I was like, because of that, I think I can borrow a leaf on what worked for him and what didn't work. And most importantly, so you had just gotten back from school, and I was like, one thing I want to teach people is, everybody wants to study abroad and all those things. Kelvin is going to be my first guest on my podcast, so that we have it as a conversation, and it was a very good way to catch up with him. So I thought of that, and I remember that day I picked my phone and I called you. When I called you, before I even started talking about this, you hit me with your own podcast conversation, and I was just blown away, to say the truth. And weeks down the line, we're here.
Here we are. Our first episode, and congratulations for showing up today. Because to just show up and start, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. And because we're doing it together, we will consistently push each other.
Yes, we shall.
And then take this the whole year. We're gonna show up the whole year.
All right. So another thing that I want us to discuss is the name of the podcast. I know we had hinted about it, and I told you the whole story around that. And I think you know, but the audience out there doesn't know. But the name of this podcast is going to be Health and Wealth. Do you remember what I told you? Why that?
Well,
name?
if I remember correctly, it's about our daily lives circulate around health and wealth. In whatever we're doing, whether we are going to work, whether we're interacting with our family, our friends. It can all be narrowed down to health and wealth. I mean, if I remember correctly, that sums it up. I think as I said, I'm going to talk about all the details on why that name. But when I thought about that name, I looked at it and I was like, it's perfect because it's broad and at the same time, it really, as you say, describes what we're chasing for. One thing, all of us are chasing paper. We're chasing the money. Let's be honest. We wake up every day and we want to make money. Let's not be humble about it.
But as you're doing that, you also want to make sure that you're healthy. Because if you're not healthy, you cannot chase that paper. You will not make that money. You will not be rich. You will not be worthy. So when that name came to me, I was like, this is so perfect. But to me, how I look at wealth and health, it's not as simple as those words are described. So when we're talking about wealth, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about a wealthy life is a healthy life. Wealthy life has rich relationships, rich friendships, knowledge. That's why we say knowledge is wealth. So to me, when I look at most of the things that we're going to be discussing, relationship, friendship, spirituality, all these are wealth. Because when you talk about wealth in life, it's not just about what you own. It's not just about riches. It's about everything else. Because that's why some people will tell you that I am rich because I have a family. I am rich because I have good friends. I'm rich. That's what I want all of us to join together in this journey.
And see how we can not only be worthy in one way, but also collect good friendships, also have good relationships, have time for your family, go to school. Just try to collectively capture all these other things. You need to be worthy in all the dimensions. So that's what the name is all about. And as we're doing that, we're chasing to be worthy. We also have to be healthy, and we can be healthy in so many ways: mental, physical, spiritual health, everything. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And just to put you in, to add to what you already knew about that name, that's why. That's where the name is coming from. And if that's something that you're looking for, and if that's your goal for 2025, join us in these conversations. We'll be showing up every week, like I said, and we just want to see what happens when we do the year together. How
is it different with other years where we haven't been together?
Exactly.
So, I like that you mentioned about goals. I think you've really introduced something that is very important. We just started the year. Many of you, maybe you have jotted down, like myself, in this book, something about goals. 2025 goals and all that, and maybe last week it was about reflections, what 2024 was about. I know last time I met you, you were talking about how you were reflecting on all your finances and your business and all, which is very important, by the way. So I want to ask you, what have you planned for 2025 in terms of goals?
Well, I should be honest. I haven't sat down yet. I've only been reflecting 2024, but I haven't sat down yet to think about 2025. And I know I'm not alone. I know there's a lot of you guys who,
Okay.
And it's not. It's something that I still want to learn. Because most of the times I've just been living life where I'm like, I'm just gonna work hard. I'm just gonna try my best to show up every day. And in showing up, whatever falls on me. But I think you are someone who makes goals. I just want you to enlighten to someone like me who still, is trying to figure out, is it really necessary to... I know I do understand the importance of goals and stuff. Gomano, it's not something that I absolutely prioritize. And it's one thing I would like to learn from you. Why goals?
Why goals? I think goals on their own are like the way we keep an accountability partner.
Okay.
Of course, when we have goals, you also need an accountability partner, but goals on their own, they have actually a spiritual basis. It's there in the Bible. It is stated that you actually need to make goals, and when you make those goals, you need to write them down. And I'm going to share you this verse that is in the Bible, Habakkuk 2, verse 2 to 3, where it talks about write your plans down. You need to write them down. Yes, they are here, but write them down. There's power in writing things down. Okay. It makes things clear. As you're writing your first goal, let's say, okay, I want to lose 20 kgs. Just thinking about it, it's so easy. You can just think about it and just talk about it every day. But once you take your book and pen and start to write, that's when everything comes, like how real that goal is. And you start thinking about, am I being realistic with myself? Am I going to save 10 million kwacha on a 500,000 kwacha income? All that comes to your mind, and it's very important. I will not go in deep details about that. I think we're going to invite somebody over the episode that can really talk better on that, and somebody that has helped me to look at goals in such a way.
So when you write your goal down, right? For example, it's just writing it down. What makes it, if I write it down today and I don't look at it again, it's almost...
Yeah, that is really a good question. Writing goals down is not about just writing goals down. It's not just having that book and keeping it and then walking around with it. No. The first important thing that you have to do is to define your purpose, to have a vision. What do you want to become? What do you want to achieve? And remember, this is bigger than academic life. This is bigger than your business life. This is bigger than professional life. This is overall, when you look at yourself, by the time you're leaving this earth and you define yourself to say, I have lived and I have achieved and I have actually lived my purpose on earth. What would that entail? When you look at that, that's when you come up with a vision or you know your purpose. And for my spiritual friends, we know that is mostly driven by, prayer and reading the Bible. Sometimes clarity comes in, why you were actually created to be here. And I would advise, as you said, you haven't written your goals down. That's the first thing that you have to look at. And then when you have that vision written down, then that's when goals become easier, because you look at goals should satisfy the vision. Okay, You look at your goal, every other goal, health goal, family goal, financial goal, should pour into your vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, because if you just write goals out of somewhere, maybe you read somewhere and all that, then you're going to be a scattered life. You're going to be a scattered person who is everywhere, and at the end of the day, you're nowhere.
So let's say, for example, let's put it in context. Like my vision is to be able to employ a lot of people. So I have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people who are out of school, but they're still looking for jobs. I believe, Kudi, in this country, I just feel a certain responsibility to create jobs. That's like the vision that I have. At the moment, I don't know how many people I've employed, but I don't want people with a lot of talent to just be sitting at home. I want to like create something for them. That's my vision. You know? That's, I think, what I see for myself, you know? And now, where do the goals come in now?
Okay. So you look at your vision written down in bold, and then ask yourself, what are things that I can do, or how can I work on myself to make sure that I'm pouring into my vision? Okay, what do you need to do? And if you look at that, it's not only that you need to get money, which is one of them. You need to get a lot of money to be able to employ people. But if you look at it, you need more other things. Maybe you need to read. Maybe you need to open up another business. You know, there are all those other things, and you really need to sit, because looking at goals is not something that you just sit and then write everything as if it is a poem. No, it's not. You really need to think about everything, because one thing about goals, we always say they need to be realistic. And they need to be time bound. You need to know, by this time I can do this. You know, the reality of things is that all of us as individuals, we can just do as much in a certain point in time. But when you're out there just thinking about things, you start to think you can do everything at the same time.
And it's overwhelming, isn't it?
It becomes overwhelming. And that's when goals become so, you know, because they actually tilt you back in line when you write things. Because when you write those things, remember, you sat down and you really thought about it. When you revisit to read, that's when it becomes your accountability partner to remind you, Kelvin, you didn't write that down, you know?
Exactly.
You said you're going to start that in June. This is May. You haven't finished this. So finish what you set up for May before you move on to June. You know? Oh, Kelvin, it's November. You said by December you need to have this. You know? You said in 5 years you need to be able to employ 100 people. Kelvin, you only have one employee. Are you sure in the 6 months that are remaining you're going to employ 99 people?
Exactly.
So it keeps you in line. That's what I like about writing down goals, because it's not just in writing them down and speaking about them, but it's that they remind you. If I would ask you, how many things have you thought about and instantly forgotten?
I say it's a lot of things.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a superhero of who thinks can do anything and everything at any time. So now I think what I'm getting from you is the goals help you to focus on one thing. It's like you're gonna do this, Kelvin. But for now, let's focus on, because like I'm someone who is all over the place. I am here. And I think the problem is that I don't have these goals written down. And because like during the year, right? So many things happen to me. I'm just going here and then I go here, and I mean some of the things work out. Komano, I forget a lot other important things along the way. So I think now I'm understanding why I am sometimes confused. Should I continue the YouTube teaching on YouTube, or should I be teaching people in person? Should I do the business? Should I change careers?
Yeah.
You know, so many things. So I think the goals help you to get aligned.
Yes. So that happens to the most of us, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes even with goals written down, you find yourself wandering around you everywhere. But when you come back to read, and remember when we were talking about this episode, we talked about that. We said, can we talk about how we can be each other's accountability partners on goals?
Exactly.
And also invite everybody else out there, our audience. Find a friend that can hold you accountable on your goals, can remind you, can ask you questions. How far are you? What are you doing right now for your goal? And one other thing that I want to put out is, when you write goals, you don't just write a goal as a statement or as a sentence and leave it there. No.
What do?
You need to have a plan. And that plan has to be written down too.
Well, Lloyd, is it not now complicated? Like, it's now getting too much into rules and instructions. Then there are some people like me who just I don't like too much, rules and instructions.
But you don't like them. But do you have them? Do you think you have them in your life?
Yeah.
You do have them. They're just not written down. Do you save money?
I do.
Do you have an amount that you save? Those are your rules. The only difference is now you're going to have a specific goal. How much are you saving? From what time to what time? And how are you going to save that money? Where are you saving that money? What is the reason you're saving that money for?
And what happens now when you're you have these goals written down, right? But halfway through the year, something else spectacular that wasn't on your goal comes through. What do you do?
I really haven't thought about it like that, really, but I believe I'm a free-spirited person. And because of that, I believe that my life is not confined through certain rules of life.
Okay.
And there are a lot of things that I can change or add to my life. What is very important is you need time to evaluate yourself. So when you're evaluating yourself, it helps you to either continue, remove or add.
So you're not so stuck to the goals?
No, it doesn't mean if you make goals on the 1st of January 2025, then you just have to do those things until December. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? Do you have to?
It.
No, that is not what the purpose of goals are. I think that's why most of us fail on our goals, because we look at goals as if they are these set of rules that are there to hunt us down. Do it. If you don't do it, then you're a failure. No.
Okay, that part, I like that. If you don't do it, you're a failure. Some of us are walking into 2025 having described it as failure. I had this goal last year to be going to the gym. It did not work out. And my immediate thought is to say that I have failed to go to the gym.
No.
I had a goal to start a certain business. It did not work out. I have failed on that goal. So I like what you're saying, Goody. If a goal did not work out maybe last year, it's not a failure.
No, it's not a failure. It's either a discontinued goal or it's a rearranged goal. You rearranged it into something else that is more suitable for you. I'll give you an example. You tell yourself, okay, I'll be saving 500,000 every month. And then let's put it out there. You and I are more business people than working people. So let's put it out there. You're working and you tell yourself, I'll be saving 100,000 kwacha every month. And then you start that, from January, March, you lose your job. And then you lose your job, and then maybe up to November, you don't have that job. So you wanted to save at least maybe money for your rainy days.
Yeah.
You could have saved 1.2 million.
Yeah, 1.2.
It means if you don't have a job in these months and you only saved like 600,000, and then you get another job in just for December, you end up saving 700,000 for your rainy days instead of saving 1.2 million. Is that? Did you fail? Did life make you fail?
Well, that's how we feel about it.
No,
you know,
nobody should feel like that. Nobody should feel.
So, like, you're trying to say, like, the goal becomes just like your campus. Could it's not necessarily you will exactly end up with that goal. Komano Mwina, it's leading you towards something. It might be that exact goal. Komano, it may lead you to something better. You know?
Exactly. I like the word that you used to say, a campus. Take a goal as a compass. It's giving you direction. You know, it's giving you direction for you to be able to navigate through life.
Okay.
But because it's there, it gets easier for you to navigate through. You know? It doesn't necessarily mean you cannot get lost. It doesn't, which we're human. That is going to happen.
That's going to happen.
But remember, your goal is there.
Yeah.
And then it pushes you. You lose your job today. What pushes you? And a lot of us get so frustrated when we lose something. Maybe, for example, a job.
Because we are aligned. This is our goal, my goal. And then something disrupts it.
Exactly.
And you get...
Yeah. So when you have that obstacle. But when you have that goal written down, do you know what happens? It pushes you to wake up. Because how many of us are willing to wake up when we lose a job? You used to wake up 4 a.m. to get ready, and by 7 you're out of the house. Now you lose your job. Are you still going to do...
Nothing to wake you up at 4 a.m.
Exactly. But that goal still pushes you. It's there in your brain. You say, you know what? You still need to get going. Because you still need to find that money. You still need... You still need to push yourself. So you need that goal. You need that compass.
And you know what's
to help
coming
you
to my mind?
Yeah.
What's coming to my mind is like when you're students, let's say secondary school, you may have a goal to be a doctor, right?
Yes.
But you will be learning Chichewa, you'll be learning agriculture, you'll be learning, and as much as these become like not necessarily what you want to do, Komano, they are giving you the direction towards. You may not even know whether you'll be a doctor or a teacher or something else. Komano, the whole structure of a school is like your campus. It's like taking you somewhere. You know? That's what's coming to my mind.
Exactly.
You have something you wake up to in the morning. And it's keeping you aligned. You're not all over the place. Right?
So that is very important, because even in the wake of distractions, obstacles, you still have a goal. You know? What happens? I'll give our example, or my example specifically. I wanted to study medicine at College of Medicine, you know. But when I applied for university, I ended up being redirected to
that's why it's our story, because I was also it's the same case,
you know, to Chancellor College to study education science. At that particular moment, it wasn't an exciting thing. You know, I
literally cried.
Tell me about
I
it.
was a smart kid,
exactly. You know? I want to be a doctor. Now you're telling me I have to be a teacher?
Like, no.
You know, like, how is that helping me? But, you know what I still had was, I have a goal. I still have to achieve. And even though in that moment, being redirected looked as if it was an obstacle, I still thought, you know what? I'm grateful that I'm still going to the university, unlike other people that wish they did.
That worked so hard.
Maybe even harder than I did.
Yeah. So you're like, okay.
But I still set a goal to say what I want to end up as, which even though I wanted to do medicine, I wanted to teach. So I told myself I want to be in academia. I want to teach. I want to. And story for another day, but we both know now I teach nurses and doctors and other medical practitioners. That is the goal that I had. And trust me, I'm still working so very hard, even today, to be that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a medical doctor, to be in academia, to teach other doctors. I didn't become that. I was redirected. But I had a goal to teach, and I'm teaching.
And you're teaching, exactly.
So when I had those distractions, my goal kept me to say, you can still achieve.
There's still a way in which this can take you there. So when we get redirected, we can always ask ourselves, how can this still take
me there? Yeah. You can go straight, or you can go around it.
Yeah, you can go around it. So there are many ways.
The main point that we're making is have that goal.
Yeah.
Remember, have the vision, and then have the goals. The vision and the goals will always take you back to where you're supposed to go. But it's not as easy as that. You need to work for it.
I mean, if it was easy, I would have done it already by now. But I like that you actually highlight that it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, and I think it just takes us through to the whole thing. Everyone has to work on their life.
Yeah.
Nothing is easy
at
all. And what I also like is there's a work that has to be done.
There's work.
It's not, and if you're just thinking it's in the brain, there's nothing happening. The work to write it down, the work to see it through, and also the work to find people who are aligned to the same kind of, like the way you are teaching me about these goals and stuff. You see? So that's the work that I'm doing right now. Having this conversation with you, and I'm sure that even the people that are joining us in this conversation are also doing some work, and that's why it's important to appreciate anyone who has watched up to this far, because it's not easy.
It is not
to watch something that will help your life.
Exactly.
And
oh my God!
It's also interesting how we know things that can help our life, we just don't go for them or do them. I don't know what's wrong, but
no, there's nothing wrong. Remember, as human beings, we naturally, biologically, we run towards comfort. And everything that does not provide comfort, you run away from it. And what are these things? These are waking up every day in the morning, leaving your warm bed, going outside in rain, in cold, in dust, in the heat to work. These are reading. You're tired.
Reading is not easy. Reading is, and we all know it's important.
We know it's important.
Such kind of thing.
But look at, and when you grow older, it becomes worse because your brain is always tired. You have all these things that are going through your head, and on top of that, you have to read.
And I think it's a huge responsibility on us to work on this thing, because at the end of the day, I was having another conversation with a friend of mine, and then he gave me a very stupid quote, and then he says, the quote was like, I'll just paraphrase it. It's like, it's okay to steal something from someone if they are not using it. And then I thought, it's like so stupid. How should you steal things from people because they're not using it? And then he told me to think of it this way. Kelvin, think of all the talents you have that you're not using.
Yes.
Should it not be okay for me to just come take them because you're not using it? Yeah. You see? So it's like we have all these talents inside of us, and they can be stolen from us if we don't use them.
That is so true. Even on spiritually,
Yeah.
I think we think about it to say all these things, as you put, all these talents that we were given, are we not going to be asked, what did you do?
What did you do?
You know?
All these podcasts we would have started.
All this knowledge that you would have shared.
Yeah.
Are you going to not be asked to say, what did you do? All these people that you would have employed.
Yeah, exactly. Whose lives would have changed.
Exactly.
I was busy on TikTok every Sunday morning.
Oh no, TikTok can be important too.
Yeah,
you can employ people by doing,
exactly.
but you just have to look at it.
But you're just like sitting on things and looking for what is comfortable for you when you would have been working towards your goal.
Yes. So and we were talking about working hard to say, in as much as we're just putting this in the simplest way.
Yeah.
Everybody, all of us need to know that it's not as easy as it is being spoken.
As it's being spoken,
it needs work.
To specify your vision.
It needs work.
It needs work.
Because once you put it down in your book, remember, you need a plan. You put all those steps. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
And make sure that goal is feeding into your main vision. On top of that, you need to make sure that you're working.
You're working. That's
so
part.
When I say I want to lose like 10 kgs, you know, this year or in 6 months, I need to have a plan.
You need to have a plan.
You know, if I'm not waking up every day, if I'm not choosing to go on a run, if I'm not choosing to go to the gym, if I'm not changing my diet, it will not mean anything.
It will not mean anything.
If I write that I want to be saving money, I want to save 500,000 every month towards something, or for rainy days, and I end up that I don't change the way I eat out. I'm eating out 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ordering in 24/7. I'm buying all the nice things that I see on Facebook Market. I will not achieve my goal. So those goals need work.
So the first step we did of writing down the goal will be useless.
It will be useless. Then you might as well
just left it in your brain.
Exactly. So you need that plan, and you need to do the plan.
Okay, and then you start to work. Now the work part. I know some of us can reach work for one day. Like you go on a run for one day,
and then
come back and then not go there again. How do you continuously now work?
To say the truth, I think for the most part of us, motivation is difficult. What I've found to be motivating enough for me is to first of all find a reason.
A reason?
Yes. Find a reason why you're doing what you're doing.
The reason why you're working.
The reason why you want to achieve your goal. The reason why you have to do what you need to do. I'll give you an example. I am driven by comfort. And I say, especially when it comes to hard work, I want to believe that to some extent, I'm a hard worker. To some extent. It's subjective. The reason, and this, mostly when it comes to business and money making and all. And the reason why this is so is because, as I said, I love comfort. I really love nice things. And I would really like to own nice things in this life at some point.
You try your best. You have a nice living room set up in the best way you can right now.
I try.
So I'm not surprised you like nice things.
So that's the thing. I love nice things. I want to have nice things, you know, like super, super nice things. And that's one thing that is my reason for wanting to make money in any way possible.
In any healthy way possible.
Legal.
And legal. That's why the podcast has to also include the health part.
Exactly.
Because as much as you're looking for some worth or some to collect some nice things,
let me be healthy and legal. Please.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I try my best, and I'm going to wake up to.
You're gonna teach students. You're gonna.
Tell me about it. I'm gonna have like 5 jobs in a month. But I need, and why I need is I need to
because it affords you the things.
And
I like that you're honest about it like that. Most people don't wanna say goody. Like even to say that I want the cute things are expensive. They are not your regular priced kind of things. People don't want to say that they want expensive things, or maybe let's say we try to remove money out of
our lives, which is basically cheating ourselves.
Yeah, cheating ourselves.
Because we all have money. Seriously, money.
Exactly.
Money helps us in so many ways. Money helps us even to achieve some goals.
Some of the goals, exactly.
We need that money. So
even most of the goals.
Somehow. Exactly. Somehow. How are you going to pay your tuition? You need that money. Exactly. How are you going to eat healthy? Do you know how expensive some of the healthy foods are? Exactly. You need that money. So, as I was saying, you are going to need a reason. And it really has helped me to stay motivated. I think without a reason, your goals and your plans and your vision are going to just be there, written down. Because, and even when you talk about a healthy goal, when you look at your belly has started to protrude, and that's like a check. You're like, oh my God. Sister, you better start waking up 4 a.m. tomorrow and go on a run. When you see some people that are diabetic, when they see when they go for the clinics, they see those sugar levels rising. You better start eating healthy. When you see that you're living month to month, when it's the 15th of the month, your bank account is literally crying.
Yes, literally. So it's like there are things that remind us every day to work on our goals. But maybe we overlook them most of the time. Maybe
we do, because
like your bank, your savings are telling you, goody.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing, but you choose not to also look. So like most of it, I think we choose something. I know no one wants to hear this, but we choose something. There's an element of this responsibility that we choose to leave aside, but we want to just believe, but it's just happening to me.
I know most of us don't want to hear that. Even myself.
I also don't want to hear that.
Sometimes when I'm doing things that I'm very sure that I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I go like, but I can come back, but
but also there's also like a way we can choose to focus on our goals. There's a way to choose.
And
all this that you're teaching us right now is a way to choose to work, a way to choose to remember your reason, like to literally remember your reason. It's a way to choose to write down your goals. It's a way to choose to have that overall vision. So
you have to. It's that's very true. You have to make a decision. I think at the end of the day, our decisions define what we are, what we become. Because as you put it, even by taking that piece of paper and taking that pen and starting to write, that's a decision that you make. And you need to make that decision. And even when you have those plans, that decision every day to wake up and start working towards your goal. Those are very important
and I
decisions.
actually like the fact that it sort of gives you like control. Hudi, your life is not just happening to you. That's one thing that should not happen to us in 2025. I think there's been a lot of things that we have like gotten accustomed to. This has been like my problem for the past 5 years, 6 years. I have not done this, and there is no control over that. And I think it's high time we choose to give all these excuses for things not happening. It's now time to just like say, I'm gonna work on my body. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna work on this goal, on this business. I'm gonna try to apply for schools. Although it hasn't worked for the past 5 years, but I'll do it again. Yeah.
That's so true. Okay. One thing that I wanted to ask you. You have said, you've told everybody that you haven't really paid attention to writing down your goals.
Yeah.
But I know one thing I like about you is that you see things through. You have things that you want to do, to start, and really, to me, I think you're one of those people that make sure that you see things through. I'm going to give an example. For example, how you birthed the idea of Gamers Planet, and right now looking at it is almost the only gaming place in Malawi where you can get all these games, and how you have come from just having an idea to implementing it, and right now it's a business that is who doesn't know it, I think I like one thing about is that. So I want to follow up with a question to say, how do you balance? Because you were in school, you were doing your masters, and by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
You were doing your masters. You just got back. I think most of us that were your friends, the first thing that we were thinking was like, oh, Kelvin is coming back. Obviously to land some job, to start applying for jobs, and then we just hear that, oh, I'm now in Lilongo working here. But you didn't do that. What you did is, with your master's degree, the first thing you did in Malawi was to open Gamers Planet. How did that happen?
Well, I think when you're looking for something, you somehow find it. Eventually, later on. So, and also, when I was still in school, there was a chance to have stayed that side. There was some chance in which I would have said, I'm not going back home. But I think I have some uncompleted work here. That no matter where I am, I still will be haunted by these ideas about finding jobs for fellow Malawians. It's still something that will continue to haunt me until I see it through. So when I came here, I was like, okay, what can I do? And then one day the idea came to my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna just do it so quick until I reach a point where like there's no going back. So I'm gonna buy 3 PlayStation consoles. I'm gonna buy maybe 2 TVs. And then I'm gonna see like, now there's no going back.
What am I going to do with all these consoles?
I have this, there's no way to go back. There's only way to go forward. So I think it's important to whatever you want to do. There's always something that you can do in a way that there is no going back. There's only a way to see it through. There's only, I think there are sometimes like you go to the gym once. It's possible to not go again. But you suddenly reach a certain point where you're like,
I can't lose all this.
I can't lose all this progress that I have made. So I think for me, that's what I'm always looking for at any point in my life. I just want to reach that point where I'm like, we are not going back. We are only going forward.
That's very nice. I think I haven't thought about it like that, and I'll do that too in some of my goals, to say once I start, I set it out so fast, so soon, so that I can't think twice about it. I'm like, I'm already in.
And you're left with only the work now. You're left with the work, and it's also almost like a burden. I have started this, and if I don't do it, no one is gonna do it anymore. You see? Yeah, so it's like almost like starting to read a book. The first pages may not be so interesting. But you reach a certain point where you're like, I'm almost there, you know? The story is already resonating with me.
Now I want to know more.
I just have to know what happens to this character at the end. So it's the same, I think, how it happens with us. Whatever, I think the goals we're making, and maybe to just connect it. There's a way in which there is no going back when you start. So let's all look for that.
You just have to be vigilant enough to go in with so much power.
Yeah, like the way I was like doing with my masters, right? There was, you can drop out at any point. But there's some point where like I've already done the coursework. I just have to write the thesis. There is no going back. It's let me just write it.
I think that the thesis part is the one part that everybody doesn't like. But you're just like, I've been through all these months. Now I give up just because of one bit that is left.
Exactly.
It makes so much sense. But on top of that, I think going back to your time when you traveled, which I liked so much that you used your time so well. I think even if I was in your place, I wouldn't have. Seriously, I like doing things. I like seeing places, but I think you did it in a. I was so.
It was a difficult decision to make.
I can
so
imagine.
Difficult because I've always wanted to do like a Euro trip, right? But I was also coming back home, and I need the money to come home. I need the money to settle down here. It's not for free. I need to buy those air tickets. I have to buy. It's not free, and it's money that my mom would be so excited if I could just give her, or it would change a lot of things in my life.
I can imagine.
Then I was like, should I? But then this was something I always wanted, and I'm so close to it.
Even easier because you were already there. You know.
What do I do? It was a difficult decision to make, but I was like, you know what? I think I will regret if I don't do this.
I am glad that you did it. What I want to know, and I think a lot of other people can benefit from it doesn't mean you have to travel to Europe to do it, even here. But what I was really interested with what you did, and what I want to know is, how did you become that flexible? How did you balance it up? I'll just make it easier for you to understand what I mean. You are a scientist, like I am, more a mathematician anyway than a pure scientist, which in most cases people look at us as rigid people. You know, like you have specific things that people associate you with, specific places that people associate you with, and when people see you doing something else, they're like, really? You know, like,
I just believe like there's like so much that we can do. I think we need to surprise ourselves, right?
Exactly.
To shock ourselves.
Yes.
Because like I think for the most part of 2024, I have surprised myself so much. Like you remember the art that I make in I did not know I was an artist, or I would make something that people come and then they're like, wow, you did this.
That's very beautiful, actually.
And you know, I'm confused. Okay, am I an artist? Because I
go see it, by the way, at Gamers Planet. There's the whole of that.
And I'm so surprised because I've never identified as an artist ever in my life. And somehow I make something and people are like, wow. And I'm like, oh.
I was amazed too. Seriously, when I saw that video that you made, I was like, are you sure you're not just standing by it? You know, like, and then when after somebody else did, but then you told me about it, and I was like, I was wowed.
And I'm just wondering now, what else is it? Maybe I can paint, but I have just never thought about it. Maybe I can sing. Okay, maybe the singing, but
maybe you can sing. You need to go to karaoke and try. Maybe you can.
It would
you
just
can
be
actually
exciting,
sing.
wouldn't it, to just figure out what else?
What else?
Apart from like our professional lives, I'm a math teacher. Above many things, I love doing that. I love to write the math book.
Yeah.
I like what I've started now as a business.
Yeah.
But couldn't it be exciting to until maybe a point where I'm like, okay, let me tone it down. But at this point, I think I'm still like, what else is there, right?
Exactly.
What else? And then that's why also I think it's important that I like that we are having this conversation because we can keep track. Next month we'll be able to talk about what has surprised us about 2025 so far. What have I done that I did not know I could be able to do previously? Right?
All right. Yeah. So I think this has been a very, very good conversation today.
Absolutely.
In as much as I've talked a lot, but I've also learned a lot.
I have also learned a lot, like literally learning. And the audience should know that this was completely unscripted. We did not lay out anything that we'll talk about, but I enjoyed it, and thank you for all the insights that you have shared.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a wonderful point to end today's episode, right?
You think so? I think so too.
Yeah.
I think today has been.
Yes, it's been amazing. And I just like to thank everyone who joined us today and who is going to join us through this journey. We can't wait to have conversations with you guys, to hear from you, to talk to you guys, and to check on you guys as well. And you guys also check on us.
Yes.
So, any final words?
Final words.
Yeah.
Please, this is Health and Wealth by Cecilia and Kelvin. Please remember to subscribe. You know where we're talking about goals today. We have our goals.
Yes.
How we're going to reach 1,000 subscribers is if you hit that subscribe button today, right now, follow us, like this video please, and share it with your friend. If you have a friend that you think can benefit from this, please, knowledge shared.
Yeah.
You know,
it's power share.
It is. So share, and if you're a parent or guardian watching this, please send this to your children. To all the students should watch this. And join us on a journey where we want to learn from experts, and also we want to make sure that we share our knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Until next time, we're gonna see you guys next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, and by the way, where are we right now? Location.
Oh, so we are at the baker.
Yes.
The baker
Let me get this.
In Ginarekona, Blantyre. You can also find the baker in Choro Road. Yes.
Yeah, somewhere there. But yeah, we're at the baker. Wonderful space. We'll show you a snippet of how it looks.
Visit this place, support them as they have supported us. Buy some confectionaries, buy coffee, buy drinks, come with your family and friends, and have those unscripted conversations
here. Okay. See you. Yeah.